Welcome, everyone. Everyone is in the room. It's the first time we had everybody in the room in a while. It's still not good enough for AC. Everything
smells like shit. It looks like actually it smells like ass.
I'm gonna blame that on my kids. So AC says my kids smell like ass.
No, your kids are fine. Just this room, dude.
Anyway, so I'm playing with my new toys as far as bells and whistles and buttons and knobs and stuff, but we got lots of different stuff. We were talking about the Green Vista or Green whatever it is boat stuck in the Suez Canal and that whole debacle. We're going to talk about that a little bit. And I forgot what else. We had a bunch of primers that we talked about in the text group before we got started, so we'll be messing with those here in a little bit. We're almost in agreement at gmail.com. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Our website is live at almostinagreement.com. You can get all of your episodes there or from your favorite podcast provider. It is what day is this? It's the 27th of March, 2021, and we are getting ready to go. So you want to start with boats or you want to start somewhere else?
Boats. What do you mean? With the floating
yeah, the green, whatever
barge.
It's called.
Pretty fucking cool, actually.
It's pretty crazy. Yeah, it's pretty interesting story all around on all the different aspects.
Had you seen that before we?
Yeah, I'd heard about it. I hadn't, dug deep on it by any means, but I definitely heard about it because the first, I think Jesse from the Compass did a post about it, and I was confused because it's like Green Vista is the boat's name, but Green something else is the name of the company that owns the boat. So really big on the side of the boat, it doesn't say Green Vista, but the headline's like Green Vista stuck in Suez Canal, and then there's a picture of the boat where it says like Green something different. And
now, how long has it been stuck there?
A few days now.
Yeah, it's like 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah, I don't know. With a boat that big, I don't know what you do.
There's a picture online of one excavating piece of machinery.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Big front end loader that looks like nothing next to it.
Is he gonna dig a new canal?
I think at one point they had like 5 or 10 tugboats hooked up to it, trying to see if they could nudge it at all.
You need to float it.
That's what they've already started to dig it out, and then I don't know if they've started trying to take off some of the containers. That was my first thought. I was like, well, just pull another fucking ship up there and start taking the weight off of it.
Just call the Somalians. Aren't they good at stealing cargo?
That's part of the problem. Actually,
they just take over the boat.
Okay,
well, that's true. That's part of the problem, though. So, like, the Suez Canal is the only way they can go. So they go around it's like the Cape of the Horn of Africa or something. Yeah. The pirates go and Johnny Depp their way onto it and steal the son of a bitch. So.
Yeah, and I've got a whole side note talking about boats and stuff like that. We can get into that later, though, about Somalian pirates and stuff.
I was all leaning in. I was excited. I mean, we can go there. I don't know. You said AC in the notes. There's a number of different aspects at play with this one. There's the greater economics of the dependence on foreign manufacturing and stuff like that, and the pricing of foreign labor versus local labor and all that kind of stuff, and then how dependent is the world economy on this one strip of Egypt, and one little hiccup like this, which in the grand scheme of things is a little hiccup, but it's not really because you have a giant boat stuck. But how much this is affecting the world economy because one boat went a little bit too hard to port in the canal and now it's stuck. It might be starboard. I don't know. Sorry for the nautical folks out there. I'm not sure which direction it is. But
it's starboard. Left is port.
Okay, sure. I agree.
You can always remember because port and left are both 4 letters.
Good to know. The article you sent about it is talking about like Tokyo drifting through the canal or whatever.
It's pretty funny.
Got stuck.
It's like, that's pretty funny actually.
So I don't know. That's and like there's how many other boats that are now stuck on either side of the canal.
It's like 100 or
now, how long is the Suez Canal?
I don't know, but we could...
Because, I know when they go through the Panama Canal, like, those big boats, they have tugboats on them that, like, move them through that.
Well, it's different sections, though, too. There's parts of it where there's, what do they call it? Reservoirs that have been built from the damming and the locks and stuff like that, where the boats are just being boats out on a body of water, and then when they get to the lock, they tie onto those, like, train-style tug things.
Boats, yeah, and
pull them through. 193.3 kilometers, says Google.
Well, so how long is the Panama Canal?
If you look at the video rendition of the satellite of the trajectory that thing took, like it was
50.
weaving. Wow.
miles. What's the math?
2.2.
Yeah.
So 105 or so miles or 105 kilometers to 193 kilometers. Sorry.
If you look at the satellite rendition of the video of how it got stuck, I mean, it truly looked like Tokyo Drift. Like it goes left and it's weaving right. Like he was correcting. It looked like he was correcting for like.
So it was like a windstorm. They thought could have kind of pushed it a little bit.
It's like think about it. Like think about.
Wait, can you get it on your big screen?
If I can find it, I'll send it to you guys. It's phenomenal.
If you text it to me, I can pull it up real quick. Okay. But yeah, I mean, you got to think like you're driving down the interstate or whatever, and you're behind it, like you're driving down the interstate and it's breezy. Like you could feel it in the car a little bit, but especially you got a semi you could see, and a big gust comes through and that semi does that sway thing because that big broadside of that truck's getting pushed. I mean, it's certainly reasonable if that was the case, that enough wind on a boat that big, it's going to move it around a little bit.
I'm looking it up right now.
But yeah, I don't know specifically this boat, but we were talking on the chat too about how big these boats are, and anymore, like companies that build these boats, like the company that orders the boat. So if you're a shipping company ordering a boat, one of the things that you're doing when you're talking to the boat manufacturer is, where am I going to use it? And so where am I going to use it? Am I going to use it just, going from China to America across the Pacific? Then that's one set of specs. If you're going to use it if you're going to use it through either the Panama or the Suez Canal, they'll build these boats to exactly how large these canals will let boats be. So these aren't the biggest boats in the world. They're just the biggest boats that are allowed to go through the canals.
I meant to look that up, and it said it was one of the largest container ships.
That's it right there. I mean, like, at some point, if you're the captain of this ship, right, aren't you at some point probably right about there? You're like, shit. Shit.
I mean, how fast are we talking about here compared to like normal?
So you may not be able to see it on that.
Yeah, the blow up's kind of gets it blurry.
I mean, he's a DUI driver right there.
Oh no! Smash!
We're fucked.
Wowzer.
Pretty cool.
That was pretty neat for everybody listening.
Yeah.
I'm not making a phone call. You got to call somebody and tell them we're stuck.
I'll post that link that we've got in the show notes if you want to watch it too. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just and then we talked about the political part that's at play here, because I would argue that as much as it makes logical sense for shipping companies to either form a collective to build a new canal or widen this canal or do something like that, I'd say not Panama in this case, but Egyptian politics come into play. I think it makes them a much more important to world economics, not because they're producing or purchasing a lot of stuff from around the world, but because they are controlling access to manufacturing and sales and the line between.
So apparently he was going 12 to 13 knots is what he was doing, which equals about 14 miles an hour.
That naughty guy.
I mean, it seems like that's pretty fast for as much cargo you've got on that thing.
Right, and in a confined space of the canal versus being out in the open ocean, for sure. Like, I don't know. Again, this would be one of those that we need to have a seaman on the show that could kind of explain some of this stuff. Where's Randy Payson?
I was about to say, where's Randy?
Randy could explain to us what that means, and no, he couldn't. He'd tell us another long story in the process. But
do you know where the term knots came from?
How many knots on, like, you take a rope and you tie a knot every certain amount and you throw it overboard with a weight, and how many knots go through your fingers in a period of time that's how you calculate your speed.
Is that a real thing?
That's a real thing. That is where that came from.
A Boy Scout thing you learned?
No, I learned that off of
Girl Scouts.
Yes. I mean, it's all the same now anyway.
He sold us Samoa. Samoan cookies.
It's on the box, man. You got to read all the stuff on those boxes. But I learned that on not James May. What's the Top Gear?
Bill Nye the Science Guy?
No, Top Gear. The
Pete Mitchell.
No, the old Top Gear. They had they got their new one on Amazon, which is the Grand Tour. But one of the guys from Grand Tour or whatever did a show with the Balachi guy from MythBusters. They did a 5-6 episode like Survive the Island show. It's really funny. Like, it was really smart, but it was also really snarky and silly because that's what's his name? Not James May. Hammond. It was Richard Hammond and whatever Belleci. It was a really fun, like, survivalist thing and like over the top ridiculous, very much in the style of Top Gear when they do their challenges kind of thing. But it was good. It was funny.
23 hours ago, there were 156 vessels waiting to pass through. That's a lot.
Yeah. I mean,
that's a lot.
Because I was thinking about it when we were talking in the text about how to describe what I learned, at least when I was in logistics at school, about how a lot of the, especially major manufacturing, works nowadays. Is you don't want to warehouse anything if you don't have to, because it costs money to warehouse the thing, and so everybody is built on this just-in-time premise in manufacturing. So don't know, just for the sake of conversation, like a BMW plant in Germany is waiting on containers full of axles or something like that for an entire day's or two's production of whatever. And so the BMW plant doesn't have storage. So they literally get this container off of the truck or off the boat, then onto a truck. The truck pulls into the BMW plant. BMW plant pulls it off, empties that container, sends the container back, and that axle that came off that boat is on a car, and that car is somewhere else in the assembly process before the end of the day they took it off the container. Mm-hmm. And so if you're BMW right now, again, don't know if this is accurate, but theoretically, if you're BMW right now, you have containers full of car parts and cars half built in the factory that are waiting on either this boat or one of the boats that are stuck behind it.
Is that why my Bronco got delayed?
Probably.
Honestly.
I
got an email this week. Thursday.
Did you say it was getting built in Canada? Is that what you told us?
No, I don't know what's getting built.
I want to say I heard.
I would guess Detroit.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't like. I want to say I heard that one of the new cars that's going around right now is getting built in Canada.
The 2021 is only being sold by order only. There's not, and none of them are going to be at the dealerships. So I'm told. Next couple months, you see them at the dealerships. But the hard top that I ordered the painted hard top, so it's like a real hard top, and they can't do that till 2022. So I have to do the molded hard top, which is like fiberglass rather than, I guess, whatever the other thing is.
Yeah, I mean, it's being built in their Michigan assembly plant, which, I mean, I don't know. Again, not knowing, just, I mean, I'm not sure if there's components being built in China for your Bronco. I wouldn't be surprised if they came through the Indian Ocean through there.
I'm sure.
I'm not sure which way they.
Cheaper than rail. It has to be.
I'm just saying, I'm not sure it would go east from China over the Pacific and then into California or Alaska and then railed in.
But like rail's got to be more expensive than that.
But I mean,
do they come the other way because then they can go? I mean,
right? They can go up
through the whatever Lake Huron and what is that? What's that river called?
The one the Grand Canyon, not the Grand Canyon, the one that the
Lake Michigan,
right?
Lake Superior, all those.
The U.S. Canadian border east of the what is it?
Erie Canal is the main canal.
No, there's an actual river. Jesus Christ.
St. Lawrence Seaway?
Maybe.
That sounds pretty good.
We're going with it. Well, so like we're talking about non-perishables. Like they have livestock on some of these things too.
I heard that too.
So like not only are you floating out there potentially without any fuel, you're also out there and like how much of this are our markets going to be, like our meat market's going to be affected by this?
Yeah. That's crazy.
What are we looking up?
Oh, I was trying to find out
what the canal, that waterway.
Sam's right, St. Lawrence River. So yeah, because it comes up in here in Canada and it would come down and get into Detroit area from there. But yeah, you're probably right. I mean, it was likely cheaper to do it that way than to put it on a boat, take that container off the boat, put it on a train, and out of like California or.
So Max will remember this
Portland or something like
when
that.
Max and I were coming from
Portland.
From Portland.
Yeah. That was an awesome trip.
Yeah, there were we saw more train cars than cars.
Trains, yeah, that's correct. We saw more trains than cars. That's correct. Mm-hmm. Yes.
You remember that vividly.
My God, there's some more trains. Did you see that, Max? Yeah. God, can you believe that shit?
There's a lot of trains.
Fuck.
That one was like 150 cars long. I was just like, wow.
Well, you counted 152 is what you counted.
Is it?
Yeah.
My memory's not completely
Were you counting the engines
accurate.
as cars? Because
no.
I'm just asking.
No.
And you don't count cabooses either.
Come on.
They don't use cabooses anymore.
Max,
yeah, they do.
Yes, Max saw them.
Of course he did.
I'm just saying.
Just like he saw that rock fly into your windshield and break it.
Yeah, actually, I didn't see it. I just heard it.
I'm saying he saw it though.
It was right after we were a mile maybe from the dealership.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereabouts on the windshield was it?
It was somewhere like the left, right, top corner.
Yep, he's right. Yeah, so it came off the left side, hit the right side. The right side cracked.
Exactly.
Well, from the
"You see
inside,
that?" I said, "No."
From the inside, it's the left. From the outside,
I thought it was
right.
a pigeon. He said, "I thought it was a pterodactyl." I was like, "No, it was a rock, dude."
Pterodon.
Some sort of flying reptile for sure.
I'm really I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I fucked that up.
I think at some point
It was a great drive actually.
It was text to him. Hey, when we doing this trip? I'm in Portland picking up the car right now. What?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I was like, "Fuck, meet me in Salt Lake. Fuck, I'll pick up at Salt Lake. I don't give a shit."
Oh,
It was nice. I need to do that again. Actually, that was fun.
You want me to see if we can just pick up the Bronco in Detroit?
Yeah, fuck yeah, I'll fly with you. I'm dead serious. I'm absolutely serious.
No, we don't want it delivered.
It's actually cheaper to go pick it up.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll probably still say they have to charge me my origination fee.
Oh, that
Right.
sucks. Yeah, it was like $18.50 or something to have it delivered. And it was actually more expensive to drop it off in Nashville than it was here, which is weird. Anyway, but calculating the plane and the gas, it was like $900 to go get it and drive it back, and it was twice as much to have it delivered.
That's crazy.
So, anyway, I mean, you know that already because we talked about it on the way back.
Yes. It would have been like $800 if I wasn't eating all that food.
Well, we had to stop in Laramie, Wyoming. I did stop in Laramie, Wyoming. Stopped at a steakhouse. I figured that if you go to some random steakhouse in Wyoming, that it's going to be a good steakhouse. It wasn't, actually.
yeah, odds are interesting.
Anyway.
So
So
you guys
odds are
were
pretty good.
talking about the shipping containers and stuff and all the stuff that crosses, and I watched a documentary on Netflix called, I'm gonna screw it up. It's like Conspiracy and Seaspiracy.
So spelled like
like
C.
Conspiracy.
Fuck, I don't know how to spell that.
Like conspiracy, but Seaspiracy. There it is, right there. And it's a pretty good document. And you guys were talking about shipping containers and stuff, but they're like, the documentary is based on the guys talking about all these people killing whales and stuff in the ocean. And that was the whole point of the documentary, and moved into the biggest problem the world has right now is commercial fishermen. That there's more damage from commercial fishermen than anything in the world. How, he goes to all these places that, don't use plastic straws because we're destroying the ocean with plastic straws, when plastic straws are like 0.03% of the pollution in the ocean, and 46% of the pollution in the ocean is from commercial fishermen cutting their lines, buoys, stuff like that. So talk about how much it's a really, really interesting.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, apparently there's like certain there's a handful of countries out there that in some of their like boating laws and stuff like that for commercial fishermen, like they have like a net tax where it's basically if like you don't bring it back, like if you don't bring your net back, like they check it, and if they don't bring it back, you get a fine or a fee or whatever because you lost it. And so like 9 out of the 10 companies just moved to the next country over, at least functionally, and then just kept doing what they're doing.
Well, he went to like these, those Dolphin Safe logo, like Artuna, and the company that gives them that like seal on their cans. He goes to talk to them, and he was like, "So what is the acceptable amount of dolphins they can kill before they lose their label?" And the guy's like, 1. That's it. And he was like, "Well, that's not true then." He's like, "Well, we just don't have people to monitor this, so a company can say basically they are." And he said in the boats that we do have monitored, they're bribed by the boats to say that they didn't have any dolphins. But like, it was crazy watching this, how many whales and dolphins and sharks, and it's a really interesting documentary on just the oceans and what's going on. Like the death of the coral may not be because of the rising temperature in the ocean, but it has to do with the predators, and it's long, but it's pretty good.
Oop.
What are you doing?
I mean, I could play it so we can hear it, but it won't go on the recording.
And then it'd just be distracting. But the funny thing is, you were talking. What made me think about it, the Somali pirates. Apparently, when the Somali had their civil war down there was nobody policing the shores. So all these fishing boats, commercial fishermen, started going in from like China and Japan, and started fishing these shores. And all these Somalians that were using that area to fish to support their families and lifestyle, they weren't be able to catch fish because there's all these commercial fishermen fishing there. So they started raiding these commercial fishing boats, and that's kind of how the Somali pirates started off, is raiding the commercial fishermen, and they're stealing their fish. And obviously it went into any boats passing
other
by.
Stuff, right? That is interesting. That's fun.
I've seen a couple of things on like basically like slave trade in the South Pacific on fishing boats.
Oh yeah, that's in there too. About actually people's slaves.
Yeah, they basically have people on the ship, and they're like, "What the fuck are you gonna do? You gonna jump off and swim back to land? Like, we're 100 miles away from any shore.
Yeah.
Like, do you want to eat tonight? Get to work."
Yeah, there's a bunch. There's the whole section on that, on the slavery on the commercial fishermen. But if you have Netflix, it's pretty good.
That's why it doesn't make any sense to me when you have folks that are against hunting and wildlife conservation, because a lot of the folks that are against that are typically self-prescribed or self-described progressives that think it's barbaric. But like, you're not going to get anything more organic than the venison that you kill on opening weekend.
Well, what's interesting is there is it starts with an F, or fjords, or a place where you see you guys. I know you've seen the videos of they take all these pilot whales into this cove, and then they go out there and they're cutting them, and they're just like killing all these pilot whales, and like there's blood, and people are like, oh, we don't need to support that area because there's a big salmon out there, and they I can't remember the place. Look up mass pilot whale killing, and I'll tell you. And if you say the name, you'll be like, oh, I know where that is.
Tasmania?
No.
Forgo Islands?
Fjordistan?
What did you just said?
Faroe, F-A-R-O.
Faroe, yeah.
The Faroe Islands.
The Faroe Islands. So there's been all sorts of people talking about like how awful that is, and PETA, and everybody's like, this is horrible. That is the actually only sustainable fishing that guy could come across in the world on an actual sustainable. These people have been doing it for hundreds of years. They go out on these boats and they bring the pilot whales in, and they kill them and they use them, eat them. Everything's processed, but people hate it. But the pilot whale is one of the only species of whale that's not endangered. So these people have been doing this, and the guy's like, one pilot whale can feed my family for how long, but how many other animals would I have to kill to equal just one whale?
Yeah.
But it was interesting that
it's pretty badass. Get in there by hand with a knife.
With a knife, yeah.
It's pretty gangsta.
But like they had all the people on from like the Steve Irwin, the captain, the Steve Irwin. Do you know that?
Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter?
No, their boat is called the Steve Irwin. They're the Sea Shepherd.
Oh yeah,
Sea Shepherd. They had him on there talking about different stuff. So I have a bunch of people from around the world that are big into the ocean and stuff like that. But
I watched some of those episodes of the Sea Shepherd going.
Sea Shepherd,
They were shooting basically just like foul-smelling like projectiles onto these big fishing ships, and they would just like spray water at each other.
But yeah, talking about hunting and stuff like that, it's just like that's how you survive. Like you said, there's nothing more humane of how we go out and hunt deer and eat it. And
all right, well, we were talking last week about maybe 2 weeks ago about like just like farming in general, like grain farming, normal, field growing crops farming, and it's like the argument of a vegan to say that I don't participate in the death of animals for my food, and it's like you probably do. Realistically, you probably do. You're not going to get wheat unless you grew it in your own backyard. You're not going to get wheat or corn or anything else out of a field that there wasn't many animals that died in the process whether, like we talked about it, like in Texas, where the Texas state government is hiring people to go out and kill all the hogs that are damaging all the crops, or in the actual harvesting process where that big combine runs over deer and field mice and all that kind of stuff. It's just the reality of the way farming works. You're going to have dead animals.
Well, I mean, do you drive a vehicle? I mean, they've been dead for millions of years, but I mean, is your fossil fuel gasoline, I mean, do you not want to kill dinosaurs that are already dead?
Right.
I mean, that doesn't make any sense either.
I mean,
it's absurd. I mean, at some point, you just got to disregard some of those fucking fanatical ways of thinking because, like, you go out and you kill 3 deer and you just sort of leave them there and you don't throw them in a freezer. That's one thing. But, I mean, if you actually harvest it and you're, making food all year for it, then, like, come on. Like, I would rather that happen than either they get hit by a semi-truck or, right. you buy your poultry from, a slaughterhouse where they hang them upside down and electrocute them.
Yeah.
I remember looking up a while ago on like FDA regulations and they've got it broken down by like, the different foods. I think I remember looking at peanut butter and it's, per ounce of peanut butter, there are, like 3 thorax that are able to be, that are acceptable in it.
Oh, yeah,
what was his name?
Yeah,
what was his name that worked for the hose at the factory? When you were selling food, because I remember you telling me a story about how like he was giving you shit one day because you were selling him flour, and he's like, I had 32 mealworms in my flour this month, and you were freaking out because you thought it was a problem, and then he's like, no, don't worry about it. We're allowed up to like 600 before it's considered contaminated or something like that.
And they've actually broken it down to acceptable levels of excess things in your food.
Yeah. Like insects wise, at least. I mean, it's I don't know how you could not at some level. Again,
that goes on what you're talking about in the harvest of it.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of bugs that are on all the different plants.
Right. And I guess the only alternative would be to more pesticide, which that same group of people doesn't like the overuse of pesticides. So it's like, well, pick your battles here. What are we going to do? You're going to
need more ladybugs.
Yeah.
It's just a bullshit narrative. That's all it is.
It is. Did you want to talk about the real crisis?
What's the real crisis?
That
fucking chair he won't get rid of.
I'm talking about that.
Okay, since he interrupted with it, I'm going to continue the interruption. How's the chair? Is it comfortable?
It's comfortable.
All right.
Case closed.
It is, but I've also sat in the dirt.
You've also
and it was comfortable.
You shit in the woods and had a velociraptor chew out the side of your t-shirt too.
And that was comfortable.
So, I mean, you got to consider the measuring stick here.
I mean, and that is who I bought the chair for. So if the measuring stick is okay with it, then
I thought you said you bought it for me.
No, I said you could sit in it that first time that we came over. Since
I don't know.
I bought that chair specifically for him. We can go back on. I don't know if we put that on tape or not.
I don't know.
Because I thought I was talking shit about it the first
racy.
time. Because I thought I was talking shit about it. You said, "Well, I got it for you because you were bitching about the chairs."
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I thought that was your response.
Maybe I'm full of shit. I don't know.
Well, that's true, but I'm not sure what that has to do with this conversation.
I'm trying to adjust the narrative to make me right.
You can't do that.
I mean, I can try to do that.
Well,
doesn't mean I'm going to succeed at it.
You've been unsuccessful to this point.
Oh, I thought he was gone. He's
behind
me.
He's fucking still there. I just saw him too. I'm like, God.
That's a fuck you at this point. Macklemore's staying no matter what, just because fuck you.
The guy's creating a really nice backyard. The fence looks good. We're gonna put an outdoor kitchen, and yet we still have remnants of Sanford and Son just laying around.
My red neckery is not going anywhere, and we could talk about that now too if you want.
I need more beer for that.
There's some stuff. There's some beers in the fridge. I got some Coors Light in this bitch.
Really?
I'm gonna work out the red neckery.
Are they warm?
No, he's gonna try to make fun of me for warm beer now too.
You drink warm beer?
I don't know.
There was an episode.
One night, yeah, there was an episode. I had like a couple of random ultras sitting on the table over there, and he went and grabbed one. I didn't want a hot ultra, but I had some in the cooler too. I was like, I got cold beer. You don't have to drink a hot one.
Okay, so in fairness though, can you be a redneck until you've actually harvested an animal?
I guess I don't know. You were the arbiter of redneckery, so please you judge me on the scale of redneckery and tell me where I sit.
Well, that's what I'm implying, but this is more of a group conversation, really.
All right, but I mean, if
you
please,
can be, I guess I'm insinuating you can be lowercase r redneck, but if you're looking to be capital R redneck, you've got to have your hands full of blood.
I would, if like you would have like cooked up that bird instead of nursing it back to health that fell out of the nest.
True, yeah.
Then we could class you with a capital R.
That's true too.
Okay, noted. All right, I mean, just whatever scale pattern you guys can vote on.
I mean, you're probably at the pink neck right now.
On
You
a-
gotta get some more.
It's just a little bit of a burn.
on a scale of peach to lobster. I'm somewhere in the shrimp, in the cooked shrimp category.
Now, what's your belt buckle collection look like?
I would shit myself if I came over here and he had a fucking belt buckle on. I don't know how I would respond to that.
And a big old cowboy hat.
I mean,
Like, who the fuck are you?
I mean, we had conversation before I ruined it with Tickle Talk about getting a wrestling belt for our hunting champions.
Yeah.
That would be the closest thing that I'm going to go to a big belt buckle.
Well, I really think we should do that. Actually, by the way.
It's not a bad idea. It'd be fun. And you can take because you can add little like you have the main center one or whatever. Like the one of the websites I found when I was looking at them, like they had one that was essentially for this. Like it had like that super generic $2 looking off majestically into the distance, like engraved in it, and then you could like world champion or whatever you wanted. You could customize whatever the writing was, and I was like, that's pretty perfect.
I mean, in fairness though, Max and I have a fairly unfair advantage against you guys because like we've got.
All the time in the fucking world.
Well, that too. And we've got
Plenty of
drawings in other states, and like we're going to opening weekend. Period. Not just gun. Like the
right.
first
I mean,
time.
I'm assuming you're taking out your child this year just so you can go on Kids Day.
Yeah. Why would I not?
That's what I'm not trying to say that as a bad thing. I'm just trying to state it as a fact.
Sure. Absolutely. I mean, listen. That
6-month-old can pull a trigger. It's fine.
Listen, you can always buy a bigger freezer.
Yeah, for sure.
It is.
Why not?
There is. You can take out your kids too without. I was reading about that. I don't know how many times you can do it, but you can take your kids out hunting without a license to see. I guess kind of see if they like it or something.
Did you get her lifetime already? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off on that. But
No, I'm gonna get it for her for her first
birthday. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
bought
yeah.
my sportsman this year, and AC, you're gonna have to owe me for that.
Why is that?
Have you watched any of Biden's press conferences?
I really haven't.
Oh my god, it's
hold
awful.
on. What press conferences?
The one he had 5 days ago. I was sent it to you guys in the message.
I didn't open it up. I saw it. I was at work, but I didn't open it
Oh
up.
Jesus! Like
My phone wouldn't let me open it up.
he's gone.
Yeah, mine did that on the story this morning too.
He's lost it. He was talking to somebody, and they were like, "Are you getting prepared for tomorrow's press, whatever?" And he turned around. He's like, "What press meeting are you talking about?" And they're like, "The one tomorrow." And he was like, he walked off. And then there was another one where somebody asked him a question, and he started to have a conversation, and like his media people are like, "He's done. We gotta go. And it was like they are really handling him. People ask questions, and his responses are not even to what they're asking.
You gonna play that whole hour-long thing?
No, I'm just.
okay.
I mean, I can leave it on in the background. It doesn't hurt anything, but
You can't even hear it.
I mean, we can hear it. Like I said, there's a copyright issue with YouTube if I broadcast it.
Oh, I got you.
Get striked.
Yeah, so
But yeah, he's losing it. It would
Okay.
be.
I mean,
you owe me before the end of the year.
That's fine. I don't give a shit. I just want to hunt. I don't give a fuck who's in office at this point. I do care who's in office. I care who's in office in Tennessee. Actually, I do care about that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, so long as we don't have somebody up there saying a bunch of dumb shit, whether it's him or the other guy, I don't really give a fuck.
yeah, I'm happy. The less we hear of federal government, the more they're.
That's a better way to say
As long as it's not, they're not talking and they're doing a lot of stuff anyway. Like that'd be a concern too. But
that's fair.
But
Well, he was talking to a group of like construction workers. They had like hard hats on, and the guy said, you need the union vote, and with all this, most of these union guys have guns, and if you're going to take away our Second Amendment right to own guns, how do you think you're going to get the union gun? And Joe Biden looked at him. He says, "You're full of shit." Like
which part about taking?
I don't know. And then his people were like, "Come on." He's like, "No." And I was like,
Because I don't think that I don't think the hunter is in any danger whatsoever of
No, I mean we're still gonna have our guns to hunt. That's
Right.
not going to be an issue. I mean, I don't think any of them want to take away that. But then what do they classify that at? Like, obviously our good old buddy, what's his name, who hunts with us, Daryl. Like he won't be able to use the gun he uses.
Right. Which, in fairness, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you're hard off to have a meal, like I get it, but to me, there's not a whole lot of sport in like you just pull the trigger and you can shoot, 10 or 15 rounds.
Oh, I am.
Well, I mean, okay. For me, I want a little bit more of a sport aspect to it. Maybe that's why I enjoyed, being on the ground but I'll be in a tree stand this year. So,
Gee, when did you see they have an automated one?
Tree stand?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it attaches to the
Like
tree.
like an elevator.
Like it's like an elevator,
Get the
and you hit the
fuck outta
button,
here.
and it takes you up to the top of the tree.
Oh fuck! I'm looking that up right
It's
now.
got like 3 speeds on it.
Damn.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It'll take you right up there.
Automated tree stand? Is that what we're looking at?
I know, mechanical tree stand. It's probably that top one that says mechanized.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go, right there.
Oh,
So
you
how
got
much-
installed
how much
the
is
track
it?
system.
No
Black
idea.
Friday sale, everybody.
20% off. $15,000.
It's $15,000.
Yeah, I mean, it's just you're just basically.
Well, so that's the other problem too.
Starting
is
at 1,000.
But I mean, what's okay? So what's
how do you put it in?
right? You got to carry that on your back out there because you can't climb the tree, but you
Okay.
can carry that
No,
ton
like
of shit.
you set it up against the tree, and then you strap like 5 feet up, and then it goes up, and then you strap it some more, and it goes
No,
up.
I get that part, but how are you getting like at our where we hunt? How are you getting that steel bar with the chain and motors inside it to the tree you want?
Well, it's. I think it's meant to stay in the tree that you want it to be in for.
A while.
I mean,
Oh, wow.
how much do you think that weighs?
I mean, I would assume with that. I mean,
600 pounds.
I don't know about 600 pounds, but it's starting at $1,000 for reference. This one has LED lights. Look at that.
I don't need the LED lights.
Yeah, you can't hunt at night anyway.
It's true.
Backup battery agriculture kit.
I mean, if it's
Each rail weighs 36 pounds. The seat itself weighs in at just 47 pounds. So one section of rail, which is 12 feet. So to get you 12-ish feet up in the air, you're looking at 80-something pounds.
I carry 2 deer. I can carry. That's not.
I'm saying if you can carry 80 pounds out in the woods, you could probably climb the tree.
Yeah,
like,
but
what's
could
the-
and want to are totally different things.
I suppose. I'm just
I
saying,
mean,
like that's like
Let me tell you something, man. I was back there hauling my ass up some fucking hillsides. Like after I was at the top of that fucking mountain, like after I'm up there, my heart rate's a fucking 150. Yeah, I'd rather just hit a button and my fucking stupid ass goes up in a tree. I'd much rather do that.
all right. I mean, yeah. I mean, I get it for our weekend. You'd get out there, you'd set it up, and then you just leave it there.
Fuck yes.
Oh.
5:30 in the
I
morning.
mean, I probably need.
AC's in his stand.
Since
Okay.
the stand had stopped.
If I was going to do it, I need a traditional one so that it's a lot of effort to get in and out of and all that stuff so that I stay put. Because otherwise I'll be like, well, let's just go somewhere else. I'll smear it down and then I'll go wander around and then come back and then.
I'd say even the ladder stands are probably close to 100 for a good, heavy-duty steel.
Pounds or
Pounds, not
Yeah.
ounces.
I
Like the ones
don't know
that
if you meant
stand,
dollars.
the ones that stand on their own that aren't with tree, or are you talking about the ones that are like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one that's a full ladder. That's why they call it a ladder stand.
but it doesn't need a tree or does need a tree?
It does.
You've got to lean it
to
up against a tree
it,
or
yeah.
lean up against
I mean,
a telephone
because
pole
I
if
can
you
go to
want
Rural
it.
King and get those ones that are just like a giant tripod that you put out in the middle of the field, and you don't need a tree,
Oh, yeah.
or it's just like a riser stand thingy. I don't know. What it
Like
is.
a raised blind.
Yeah.
Opening weekend, I'm going where Daryl's at.
You know where I'm going?
The spot where you shot your one. Two. Yeah.
It's working.
yeah.
They're coming through there.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
That might be in different. I know I'm going to be in a different area. That would be on the caddy corner, on the other corner from where I'm at, because where they're coming through.
Shooting back towards the river and our campsite.
To my back to that road.
Yeah.
Use that ground blind again.
Yeah.
I like mine. I'm happy with my ground blind. Not that I've seen anything.
Did you
with
buy
it.
one?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. You bought it after the season?
I bought it when I took it to Chuck's Hall with me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Two of us just barely fit in there.
Yeah.
Not much room to move around.
Yeah, we broke it too, but it's fine.
This is Wii business.
You like it, but it's broken?
Well, no, it's got like it's that it's that wireframe thing where you like roll it up and it folds into itself or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's 2 tent poles that go over like the top portion to keep the top whatever, which you only need if it's raining. You don't. It's not important other than that part. And so we're moving it, and
Quit throwing this Wii in there.
we were moving it. We were moving it because we wanted to be in a different spot.
You guys
So-
were carrying it
Did I-
together?
did
Were
I
you
have my
holding
hands on it?
while you do it?
Huh?
The damn thing weighs like 4 pounds. Why were we both
So
holding it?
we got out of it, and I put it on its side to pick up our stuff.
Sam Wee.
And in the process of picking up our stuff, that it's just not designed to hold the weight sideways, and so it cracked one of the poles.
So you got to buy a new one.
No, it's just one pole of that ceiling part. It's not. It has nothing to do with the function of it,
Oh,
other than rain.
okay.
So if it rains, then I'm going to get it's
Or if it's windy.
right. Well, not even if it's windy, because I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Because like really, like when I was at Chuck Swan, I had like my pack and stuff, and I just like I used my pack as the anchor for it. And there was a couple times where it was breezy, it'd shift a little bit, but like if it's real windy, any of that extra pole frame stuff's not going to help. I mean, it came with a set of spikes, but I'm not going to spike it to the ground.
No, I don't spike mine to the ground.
Yeah, I just took a rope and I tied it to my pack, and then I took another rope and tied it to my chair. And it's like if it's gonna fly off with me, my pack, and my chair all tied to it,
They don't need to be. I don't need to be hunting.
then it's gonna say it's a good time to say goodbye.
You know, I mean, it's already almost April. We can get in the woods in August. We've only got 5 months. We're back in the woods.
It is August. We can get in the woods. Well, no. Well, we'll find out what opening. They had their meeting in April, I think.
Mm-hmm. Will you bring up the old one, the old TWRA handguide or the handbook deal to try to find? I think it was the last weekend. I think it was the last weekend in August, and then it was only like a Saturday and Sunday, and then it was like 2 weekends, not weekday, I think, and then it was like during the week was like 2 weeks afterwards. You couldn't really start until like a Monday, 2 weeks after the weekend. I think it was something like that.
I hope so. I'm gonna have to put those dates in my calendar.
I mean, I went ahead. I've already asked off, or I'm already scheduled off the week before Thanksgiving.
You really need to buy a muzzleloader or a crossbow, like you really do. Because if that's the case, dude, if you're already there, you might as well just bring your ass out there.
I don't know that I'm gonna go for the time before, like we did this year. I think I'll probably show up Friday. I'm not gonna go on Thursday or Wednesday, even though I'm off.
Okay.
I'll just catch up with you guys if you guys are already there.
I'll go for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Like-
Let me see my date.
Well, I can't if it's Thanksgiving. I'll have to be back for Thanksgiving.
Well, if we went before then, I am August 26th to 29th in Vegas. The weekend of August 14th, I'm in.
This is what we call a humble brag, everybody. This is him.
Well,
humbly.
I'm in Montreal.
So he said August 26th. That may be opening weekend for archery, dude.
I might miss it.
August last
that's
year
the
was
case.
August 28th.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Was
Pull that up, will you?
So I might not be there opening weekend for Bo. Might be there after.
Get it out. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
yeah.
See, there's the August.
Antlerless bag limits closed, but what's the what is
August 28th to the 30th. That is gotta look at the number one.
Private lands and archery only.
Except in unit CWD.
So we can use guns and muzzleloaders that weekend in CWD.
In CWD.
Okay. Or archery only.
Yeah, but then you got Yeah, so
September
we'll
is
have
when
to see.
archery and stuff
So
is.
it's really a month later after that, so we gotta wait a month. I will be in the woods that weekend.
well September
Yeah, that's so.
September 26th. I'll be in Curacao.
What's the red dot mean?
25th through October 1st.
Gun, muzzleloader, archery, CWD units only. There you go. So the only August dates should be CWD units, all weapons, and then regular archery starts the end of September.
And I'll probably not be there for that.
Fuck, man.
Well, let's see. Let's see when the new dates come out. What it says.
All right. Do you already have your plane tickets?
Yeah. And
Okay.
I thought you and Hillary were going to
Oh yeah, fuck. Is that the trip thing?
the carousel.
Oh fuck. Yeah, we need to talk about that. We as in her and I. Fuck.
We got like 18 people going now.
That's good.
Be a good party.
I'll talk to her in a bit when we get done with this.
Fuck.
I know. He's like, damn it.
Yeah,
Damn it.
Fuck.
Well, we just haven't seen the dates yet.
Yeah, it takes a bit. It's like June, like end of May, 1st of June before they come out with 2021, 22 one.
No, I think it's in April.
Is it?
Yeah, because their meeting is in. So while searching 21, 22 dates, it says their meeting is in April something.
I just didn't think I just thought it took a while to be published.
I don't know why they have their meeting. Then you would think they could just be like, "Here you go."
Yeah.
So what are we talking about now? What are you looking up? You're on to something
I'm just
else.
messing around.
Stadium.
So I re-listened to our first episode, where it was the foursome. I released that while I was on vacation, just for something to fill the air, since I didn't have as many episodes coming out, and just some of the it's kind of funny looking back, because that was the beginning of COVID. Now we're a little over a year later, and just like what we were talking about then versus how we talk about it now, it's honestly almost exactly the same, which I think is funny about it. It's just like, I don't know, it just cracked me up just going back on it. I mean, the question at the time was, I think at the time we had like 30 cases in Knox County. We hadn't had any deaths yet when we were having this conversation, and it was all about equipment. All the question, the concern was equipment, and then comparisons to the flu, and that was the majority of the episode of us arguing back and forth about that. And then to dig myself a hole, that was the same episode where I was like, I'm going to talk my kids out of going into the Army, and you got all pissy. Yeah. So that was the majority of that one, but it was. I mean, it's just interesting, just how we talked about it back then, and like what we think about it, and how it works, and what's wrong, and what needs to happen, and stuff like that. Honestly, hasn't changed that much.
We've had the lowest flu count in decades.
Right.
This year.
Why?
Well, presumably masks. Presumably. So, but it's the lowest we've had in.
I'm pretty sure they knew going into it. Like we had talked about it before, they pretty much go off of what the Southern Hemisphere, kind of how bad their flu season was. And it wasn't bad last year, I guess, in Australia. Was one of the things, the article I read that talked about it. Yeah. And part of it was due to the mask. A lot of people are going around wearing masks, so you're not passing as many germs.
Well, so I meant hospitalizations. Like I've seen zero. Like I've seen none. Not a single one.
Now,
is that because they're all classified as COVID patients?
Probably.
Because we talked about that a little bit, about
that was sarcasm.
The finance part. The financing of COVID for the hospitals and stuff is an interesting topic.
Yeah, but that assumes that there's a guy behind a curtain.
I get it on that, but nonetheless, I mean,
there is a guy behind a curtain.
It's probably Mackmore.
It might be. He is the curtain here, but
he needs to be pissed on. Is what he needs to be done. Smells like.
Apparently, it smells like it anyway. So.
No, it doesn't smell like urine in here.
I'm not gonna go so far as saying that sort of thing that you're implying doesn't exist, but like.
I'm just trying to say, like, what it was like $3,000 a test, a positive test the hospital gets, or something like that.
I forgot. I'll have to go back and look that up. I was told that, and I brought that to you guys, and I forgot what that was now.
Yeah, and so I mean, either way, like it's one of those, like,
I've heard that a bunch, but I don't know, like. That's one of those things you hear, and you're like, I don't know.
You said back in the day, like way back in May of last year when you got tested, that they tried to charge you $1,000.
Oh, I just got a bill for it again last week.
Yeah, and so
not paying that shit.
I mean, that in and of itself, if that was the cost of the test in and of itself at $1,000, understanding that insurance and VA and all the other shit that comes into play and why it prices the way it is, it doesn't make any sense. That doesn't matter. But if theoretically that was the actual price of it, then why is a hospital getting $3,000 a test? If that's the number too. We don't know the specific numbers, but either way, to the best of our recollection, the hospital is getting more than $1,000 a positive test.
I think the assumption is that, like, how else do you get? So it's a taxpayer-backed thing, so it's less about the charging of it and more directly. It's more about COVID relief, that sort of thing. That's what we're actually talking about. I would assume that part of it is there's going to be a higher medical resource need for that particular patient than a typical patient.
So if someone comes in with COVID symptoms, but they test negative for COVID, are they still treated like a COVID patient?
No, they're not. Yeah, they're not.
Because I've heard like the conspiracies of that like, which is all just bullshit media.
Yeah.
But like a person COVID negative, but they test negative for COVID, but they have COVID symptoms, so they're classified as COVID.
Yeah, that not here. Now, early on in New Jersey, we would have folks that were intubated COVID negative multiple times, 2 or 3 times, and still COVID negative 2 or 3 times they've been tested, still intubated, not improving, still febrile, not looking good at all, and we're like, fuck it, let's just test them again. And like the 4th time they test positive. It was the goddamnedest thing. And like, and you would think, that's bullshit. Like, I was there, I tested the same way, nothing else had changed. Negative pressure rooms, no families have had access to that room. It's just been staff.
So you're saying an employee of the hospital got him sick?
I mean,
no,
I'm not saying anything. Like, if I was going to say something, I would just outright say it. I would just, all I'm trying to say is this entire thing is going to take several years to figure out, like, legitimate pathophysiology. Are you able to get infected again?
Right. How do you have it?
How often are the antibodies going to stick around if you do survive? What are your post-COVID symptoms? Like, all of that stuff just needs to be
right. And then the case you're talking about is how long can you, like, you can have it and be showing it, but somehow not testing positive for it because the test is not quite as accurate as it needs to be, or it's got some weird physiology that it doesn't look like it until a certain time period has passed, even though it's acting like it.
Yeah, similar to like a drug test where like you have to have a certain amount or a certain concentration of whatever that is to pick that up. Maybe the viral load just wasn't high enough. So
right.
It doesn't mean that you're negative. It just means that the test that would tell you whether or not it's going to pop as yes or no.
Parts per 10 gajillion.
Sure.
Right.
Right.
Well, in Costa Rica, I don't even think their tests that they did on us, because we had to get tested to come back. I don't even think it was a real test. Honestly,
I mean, they're not.
Was it like a carry permit test, or they just ask you if you want one?
I mean, they swabbed my mouth, and then 4 hours later, I got an email that says I was COVID negative, and I'm like, this is Costa Rica. Do you think they move that quick?
Probably not.
I think it was just a fee. Like, they put all the samples in a bag and throw them in the dumpster at the end of the day and send everybody their negative tests.
This is assuming that we weren't paying for it as taxpayers. Like, maybe a part of the COVID relief stuff was however many, vacation destination spots, maybe we were paying for it as taxpayers, and that's how it happened. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just...
Right. Doesn't change that that's possibly what the actual action was, but...
I agree with Max. That's probably more likely. But if that's not likely, I would imagine that as taxpayers, that's the only way that it would happen.
Right. But I'm just saying that was Costa Rica's way of billing it back, is doing something so they could... So,
sure.
So you don't get back and some random official is like, hey, did you get tested? Like, yeah, here's my paperwork.
Oh, at the airport, they asked us. Like, when we were checking with their plane, they were like, we need your passport and your documentation from your COVID test.
Right, and they tally that up against how many Costa Rica says that they've done, and then send Costa Rica a check for however much they said they would.
Probably.
They're not attached yet. They're just hanging there.
What?
Okay. You said
one of my little sound tiles fell behind you. It's just leaning on the...
Why do you have that there? For sound...
Yeah, I just got them. I haven't finished them out. I'm trying to figure out exactly how I'm going to set them up. But
well, it's just curious why red and black. Why not like yellow and green?
It was either all black, blue and black, or red and black. So I went with red and black.
Could have done orange and white.
Again, as was available to me, that I in my...
You're trying to blame everything on this fucking ship? Is that what it is?
Yeah. My orange and white ones are on the... I honestly, I don't think I could...
They're on the boat right now.
Right. I don't think I could handle orange and white. It's a little too bit... I don't know. I enjoy my UT, don't get me wrong, but I'm not trying to turn my studio into a checkerboard end zone theme.
Might help with the smell.
I don't know how that would change the smell, but okay.
Why is your bookcase on rollers?
Because it's not where it's going to be. It's just where I'm holding it for right now.
I love how we're talking shit about this area.
That wasn't talking shit. I was just curious why. if you're going to put a bunch of bookcases
We just
in
show
here,
up and just start talking shit.
and then
about
there
it.
would be just like a
I like how he
secret.
says we, like he's not the loudest of the group that does it, but
But well, goddamn, he's well,
Right.
why are they black and white or black and red? Like, why are there wheels on this thing? I mean, I'm not. Sam has been a gentleman. Now,
Well,
Yeah.
Sam doesn't like to be included in anything.
I've seen him more
he,
recently.
he does
it was
get
4
mad.
pounds. I didn't help you carry shit.
No, I'm still trying to figure out exactly. Like
I'm deflecting blame.
when I first started clearing out this room, I put the bookshelf on those rollers to move it out of here, so it's easier to move around. And I'm still trying to figure out exactly where I want to put it.
Well, if you get a bunch of more bookcases, then that could be a hidden bookcase that you just roll out of the way to come in.
That would be kind of cool.
That would be kind of cool.
Shit.
But if you have something that cool, you got to get rid of the smell, dude. The smell's got to go.
Apparently, since I'm in it, I don't notice it as much. So
That's fair. So I'm buying you a chair, and I'm buying you.
you're not buying me anything. You're
some
buying yourself a
Febreze.
fucking chair.
I
I'm
don't
not
want to
gonna
carry
sit
it
in
home.
Well, I mean, it can stay here
Does it
but-
put wheels on it?
if you want to. It's up to you.
Get a chair
I'm just saying,
with
you put it
wheels.
in this house, it's gonna have cat and dog on it.
So I got to buy a cover for it. Is that what you're
I
saying?
mean, if you want it to not have cat and dog hair all over it whenever you come to sit in it,
I'll build a frame around it.
okay.
It'll be like a shelf of some sort.
So like
And
one
I'll
like
just
like
move it.
like the restaurants in New York and stuff, those little
Yes.
bubbles they put
Yes.
over.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. It's fine with me. In that case, it does need to be semi-portable because I would like to have, when I have other people in here, I don't want to have to dismantle your.
Just go steal one of
your
those
whole
things
things.
from the people at Chick-fil-A. Those little bubbles.
the walking
thing.
ones.
The
Those
walking
are hilarious.
bubbles. Have you seen
Is that what you're
those?
talking- no, huh?
It's. I mean, it's essentially it's the same premise of my blind. It's like that pop out like thing, and
It's like a
a
clear
you put it-
bubble.
I'll gore that thing.
You
for
put it on like a
Gore that
backpack. You put it on like a backpack. It's hilarious. Hold on, let me see. What would you call that thing?
Chick-fil-A canopy?
I did see a woman a few days ago. I think she was doing a delivery or taking some food out to a car for a little pickup order.
Look at images. Just go up
But
to
had
your
like
images.
a coverall like snowsuit on.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm like, it's raining. I was like, but it's not negative 20 degrees
Look
outside.
at that shit.
What the fuck is that?
I hadn't seen any of those.
Yeah, I've seen those. Yeah. I mean,
You just put that over your chair.
I'm gonna talk shit about Chick-fil-A though. They're the best drive-through functioning around.
Yeah, so I was gonna say it's not COVID related. It's just they don't want to buy them a damn umbrella.
Yeah, exactly.
They make hats that have the little small umbrella on top.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they got those iPads and stuff in there. You can't have the.
Do we actually think it's faster in the drive-through to have 2 lanes and people getting your orders? Do we think that's faster, or does it appear faster because there are people talking to us?
Perhaps
It can.
latter,
I mean,
but I
you
think
can give
I
the
mean,
kitchen time to kind of catch up and get ahead.
But I know the Chick-fil-A menu hasn't changed in 100 years, but I still want to look at a menu board when I go up, and I hate when I'm in line. They're like, "What do you want?" I was like, "I don't know." The menu board is 3 cars ahead of me.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "Ooh," like I'll just wait till I get up there so I can see. Maybe you got something new I don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know for at least the Burger King up by the shop, at least 5 out of the last 6 times I've been there. Can you pull up, please?
Oh, for
For that Burger King drive-through, every fucking time I go there,
Pull up.
I get to the window, I give them my money, they hand me my drink, they be like, "Will you pull up there? We'll bring out like some." They're waiting on something every fucking time. Now, granted,
well, a lot of that has to do with they'll tell you to pull up anyway. Like I was in a drive-through one time. They're like, "Can you pull up?" I was like, "There's nobody behind me."
oh yeah, that's when I was with Cookout.
And I'd be like, "No, I'm not pulling up. There's nobody behind me."
Got to keep the drive-through times down.
We got to keep our
Yeah,
times down. And I was like, "That's fine. If somebody comes behind me, I'll pull up."
Right, you're not keeping your times down because I'm waiting. Yeah, like when I was with Cookout, there's either a like a weight, like a scale thing that's underneath the concrete pad right next to the window that it knows its car's there, or some of them have like little laser things like a garage door safety thing that go across. And yeah, like I mean, I had to do like in after a lunch or a dinner time period, I'd have to go and I'd have to pull the report out of the machine that told me like how many cars, what the average car time was, all that kind of crap. Because that's all. I mean,
That
that's
sounds fucking awful.
it was the worst
Yeah.
job I've ever had. Yeah, among other things, made that the worst job I've ever had. But
God, that sounds
Our manager at
Um,
McDonald's figured out a little rig to that system. We kept ringing up Waters, pretend like there was 20 cars that came through ordering just a single water.
That's a good idea.
yeah, we all did it. Like every time, like
That's how Mr. Dale got fired from O'Charlie's because they were they were ringing up kids meals because kids eat free,
And it helped with the food cost.
and they would ring up a bunch of kids meals at the end of the week, like 500 kids meals, and they would cash it out as zero, and then the theoretical food cost would be better because
Right, they didn't count it against your food cost to have kids meals. Yeah, we always did it. Like every time you leave, like if I'd go to the bank in the middle of the day, I'd go through the drive-through just to run my car through there in 1 second and bring the average down. Like everybody when they left or came in, like all the employees do it. Everybody was part of the little scheme. Like when you come to work, you go through the drive-through and then go park and come inside, just to knock it down.
God damn, that's
It was awful.
fucking
Isn't
awful.
that awful?
Jesus Christ, that's terrible.
You know, and it's one of those like the premise of why it's in place makes sense, but it's like you can't functionally practice it. People are going to scam it as best they can, no matter what.
Where was I recently and sitting, there was a guy at the drive-through ordering window. He was like just sitting there, and I was like, man, how long is it going to take this guy to order? And then he finally pulled up, and then I'm sitting there, and the lady was like, what do you want? And I was like, blah, 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 blah. You know, and she was like, all right, well, stay there. I'll tell you when to pull up.
Yeah,
And I stood at the order window. And then when I pulled up, they handed me my food, and I left. That's exactly what I
Same
thought
game.
about.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah, that's just one of the matrices for a manager or whatever.
Manager bonus.
Yeah, bonuses and or keeping your job or whatever. Just it's one of those things that when you have a corporate company like that they can't sit and watch and keep an eye at it, and so they're like they build these structures, whatever the structure is, to try to encourage you to do what's supposed to be better for the customer, but
what it does is it encourages you to steal from the company.
It's creativity. I mean, it depends. Yeah, but it's. I mean, yeah, or at least be creative to lie about it. It's a creative lie more than anything. Like,
So if you come in, is there a way to do that when you come in to the store, or is it just drive-through?
No.
Not in my experience.
Well, you guys don't
personally.
have any. Well, you didn't have a way to eat inside, right?
No. There's when I was there, they opened the Maryville one and the campus one, and the campus one is the only store of all the ones I worked in that they didn't really care about drive-through times as much because, I mean, we would do 1,000 per every 10 cars would come inside, just because it's all students and that debacle. But I mean, they were weird. I mean, like talk about some bullshit. When I was down there on game days, we couldn't park in our lot. Managers couldn't park in the lot. Employees couldn't park in the lot.
Where'd you park at?
I parked. I paid for parking up there behind there. Like last time we went to a football game together, that parking garage, way on that end of the strip. I'd pay $5-10 to park in there.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
How much do they charge? Like $20 a car or something?
I don't remember what it was. It was like $10, $15, $20. Yeah, so normal game day.
Takes care of labor costs for the day, probably.
Could you not just pay for a parking space in your lot?
No, we didn't sell them. We ran drive-through on game days. And I told him that was one of the things. Like one of the many things of why that job sucked is I went to the district manager. I was like, "Look, I've worked game days on campus. And I know you guys aren't new to it because you have other stores in other campus areas. But I don't know at the time if you had like, as to my understanding at the time they had nothing like a UT campus. Like they're in Boone and they're all over the Carolinas. But no offense to North Carolina schools, they don't do football like the SEC does. And
how we used to do football,
right?
Yeah, that's
and that's part of it too. That didn't help my argument. But I was like, rent some fucking picnic tables, turn our drive-through window in just another walk-up window, and close the parking lot, and just put tents and tables out there, and you will have 5 people just picking up trash all day out there because there'll be that many people come out there, sit, eat, throw their shit on the ground. We clean it up and put another set of people in there. Like, no, Cookout does their drive-through all the time, no matter what. On a game day on this campus, yep, no matter what.
Was it busy at all?
No.
So I was about to say, I was like,
never. Like any of the game days down there, I mean, it would be slamming. Like we'd have like our line out the door of people trying to get into order would be crossing the entrance to the parking lot where people trying to pull in to go through drive-through. Like that's how many people are trying to come up, and because it's a game day on our campus, everybody knows you don't drive through shit on campus on a game day. You go into the place and get your shit. And that's what everybody was trying to do. And then we were still trying to run drive-through through it. It's like working drive-through is the best ever on game days. It's the easiest job in the store. And but that was just one of those, like, this is how we do it. And it's like, all right. I mean, I can't. It's your business. I just work here. But if
sounds to me like you should have opened up your own business or been your own boss there, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. There's no way.
Yeah.
I'd get fired.
For working for me, yeah, it happens.
No, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
probably that too, but only because you'd have a smelly area and fucked up chairs.
Exactly. But yeah, that was a random tangent into the fast food world.
Yum,
You
yum.
never worked fast. Well, I'm trying to think if I ever worked fast food.
I never have.
I think I did a short stint at what's that place? Seafood fast food place, Long John Silver's.
Oh.
Really?
I was
I
about
think
to
I worked
say,
at Long John Silver's for like 2 months.
In Colorado?
Colorado.
I worked for Wendy's for 2 days when I was in high school. Sam and I worked together for a while at a McDonald's in high school. And then for like, I was feeling ducky and I went and got a job at the Wendy's across the street and did like one weekend where I was open to McDonald's and then went and worked lunch and dinner or whatever at the Wendy's. I was like, nah, it's too much. And I just stopped going to the Wendy's and went back to my McDonald's.
Worked at a grocery store.
Worked at a grocery store. Worked in produce.
I was a cart puller.
Now they have electronic things. You hit a
Yeah,
fucking
I
button.
didn't have that shit.
what?
Yeah, fuck yeah. We used to push in like 20 fucking carts.
I did it. I was when I was
Goddamn rain.
when I was a senior, I worked at Lowe's doing the same thing, and it's like because I was 18 and working at Lowe's, I got paid like twice as much as the same kid at Kroger doing the same thing. So what I mean is, I know a couple of kids that we went to high school with that worked at that Kroger that still work there now.
Wow.
Yeah,
When I worked for, it was called Cub Foods, I want to say. Grocery chain, Colorado. I worked there, and I was cart puller. I worked there for, I don't know.
not a super with 2 O's.
Yeah, no. Probably maybe a couple months, and a buddy of mine had a job at like a sports store at the mall, like selling jerseys and shit like that. He's like, we're hiring. You want to come get a job? And I left there, so I was like, hell yeah. It's like, I don't want to be pulling carts. It's Colorado. It's about to be wintertime.
Mm-hmm.
But it was part of the union. And so then I had this union rep calling me for weeks and weeks about why I quit. And I'm like, because it's Colorado and it's about to be wintertime and I'm cart puller.
I'm 16.
And he's like, well, if it's money, we can get you a raise. I was like, no, man, I don't want to be outside. I'd rather work inside the mall where it's warm. Like they were, it was hilarious that because it was union, they wanted to
Right.
keep all their people happy or whatever.
Hmm.
But you're 16, you could give a shit about
Right.
a union.
I was like some of the problems I'm having with the current day job. It's like I understand the structures and why the structures are in place, but it doesn't work for me. And I as an individual should be allowed and capable of making my own decisions on things, but some structure in place. This one's not a union one. This one's a government issue with the pay and stuff like that. And it's like that's not good for me. But since the federal government put it in place, now you have to do it, and I'm getting screwed by it. Now I understand that it was put in place more to protect people on the other end of my situation, but you're still screwing me because you as the government assume that I'm not smart enough to protect myself.
And in a lot of circumstances, people aren't.
It's true, but it's just it's just really frustrating to be punished for not. I don't know. It's just
It really goes
annoys
back. I
me.
mean,
But
like,
isn't that what natural selection is for, right?
it
Like
should be, yeah, for sure.
Well, we've done
You
away
know?
with that. I mean, we systematically have done away with that as
when there's a weak deer out there in the forest, the other deer don't come together and try to get this deer food and shit like that.
Right.
I mean, there's stories of elephants doing that though. There are some species that do.
I was reading some research about there's this idea that predation was a main factor for like 40% of all deer dying before they have a chance to make it to the summer. And this research from, I don't know, it's one of the links that I sent you guys. It's less about that and more about if you have a consecutive number of days where there's rain, you have an increase in fawn deaths. So like if you have like 7 days in a row where it rains, you'll have more fawns that will die as a result of that. Presumably cold and you're not moving and, lower access to food, that sort of thing. So it's less about coyotes and wolves and more about
Climate
and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
So if it's rainy outside, shoot that fawn because
It's gonna
Yeah.
start
probably
it
not
up.
gonna live anyway.
And if we see a fawn in November, there's probably a problem.
I've seen it.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Oh snap!
We had a guy actually shoot one when I was a teenager.
Wow.
He shot the mama. He was hunting black powder. Shot the doe. The doe dropped. and there was a fawn
You got to kill it for sure.
behind it, and the fawn sat down, and he was looking through his scope and saw blood all over the fawn, and the fawn was still moving, so he shot the fawn, called us. We went out there on the 4-wheelers. Fawn only had one shot, and it was just spray from the thing, so we cut the deer up and took the fawn, stuffed it inside the cavity of the mama, and we used it for meat at the camp that night. But I mean, the fawn was going to die anyway.
Sure.
It was not going to live anyway. But yeah, it was spotted and everything.
Interesting.
It's crazy. Did you guys see this story?
Yeah,
No.
Yeah.
it's pretty funny.
It's pretty badass.
I'm assuming the bear won, but maybe not.
Yeah, no, I mean this bear is just
I figured it'd maul the shit out of it.
dragging it around the face.
Oh yeah, that
I think the hog had to have been stuck or something. Like I don't.
I think the hog had like a broke neck because it was biting it on its neck.
Oh, stupid news.
The hog did or the bear did?
I want the video of the actual thing. I don't want some fucking pictures in a video form.
But the first part of the video, the lady thinks that it's a baby cub that got hit by one of the cars, and the bear was trying to save the baby cub. And you get closer, and you realize it's
Nope. It's got a big old.
Nope.
It's having a big old pork dinner. That's what's happening here. But yeah, it's just this black bear.
Blow that thing up if you don't mind. If you can.
I believe that hog was probably stuck down in this ravine because I don't think
There's
generally.
a fucking road there. How's it stuck?
It's not stuck. I think the
I'm saying like right
bear
here.
has done enough damage to that hog.
Yeah, but I don't know. Bears aren't usually predatory. They're usually scavengers.
I mean, they're done with hibernation. That motherfucker's hungry.
Yep.
All right.
Like
Yeah, the bear's trying to pull him up out of that.
I want no berries. I want some hog, some
yeah,
ham.
Yeah.
But there's a point where that bear lets that hog go, and the hog still does not run away. Then he gets another bite on him. Like, look at
Was he just?
Yeah.
if that hog was not hurt already, that hog should have ran off. You would have thought.
That's pretty wild.
Yes, nature.
There was a YouTube video I stumbled across the other day where there was an alligator that jumped up, grabbed a fucking cougar, and drug it underwater.
What?
Let me see if I can find it. If I can find it, I'll send it to you guys. It was fucking wild.
This is supposed to be the I haven't been on here in a while, but this guy, Nature is Metal. It's a Instagram page where he just goes around and finds pictures of all these badass animals doing.
I've seen the
gangster shit.
panthers eating the caimans.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. In like Central and South America.
I've never seen an alligator eat a panther though.
I mean, look at that picture of that fucking crocodile jacking that fish.
And I've seen the lions and the alligators having a tug of war over like a water buffalo.
Yeah,
You ever seen that one?
Sorry, it wasn't a cougar. It was a cheetah. Sorry.
Oh,
I'll send it to you guys.
I thought they're supposed to be fast.
Yeah, this one apparently was a younger cheetah, but it got a little too close and it just fucking snaps that son of a bitch up. I just sent it to the group text.
Okay. I guess I'm gonna have to add a video element if we're gonna keep doing references like this and showing videos.
Probably so.
But I'm working on it. It's getting there. I got my camera
And
in.
like the mom is there. You have to blow that thing up,
If we get like the Joe Rogan.
and you're gonna have to pause it because otherwise you're gonna ruin it. Yeah, so like the mom was there to watch all of this shit too. The mother of the cheetah.
Yeah, because I believe
It's fucking wild.
I'll have to do some research on what we're allowed to do because I believe you could show the video without the audio on YouTube and talk over it, and it's okay. But you can't do the audio.
You can do the audio too.
All right. Oh snap! Daggone.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's a big fucking crocodile too.
So I went Anton last week. Was
Wait, I want to see the whole thing. Just keep it rolling.
When Anton was on last week and he's talking about going to visit his daughter or whatever in
Australia.
in Australia. Nope, that's on my list of places I don't want to die in.
I know. I want to go. That's
I'll
why
go. That's not true. I'd definitely go, but it's still like.
I told him next time he goes, he's going this year. But I said, next time. I mean, he didn't go every year, but I like to go to have somebody that knows the area or whatever, kind of a guide.
Just this guy just right on hand, ready to rock. It's like, so you see what happened was a crocodile snatched that fucking cheetah.
I mean, it's like a small little pond. I mean, it's not like it's a big fucking ocean area, and it's gone. No blood, no nothing. Like, does it swallow the son of a bitch? Like,
It's drowning it.
like
Yeah.
it should be drowned by now, right? Like, fuck, it's been down there for a minute.
I know this isn't the intent, but whatever this PG stands for, that's pretty funny. It's PG Live. That was not PG.
It's like, where did my
But
brother go?
Gina's like, what the
Fuck
happened?
just happened? Get the hell away from this thing.
Deuces, bitches. Mama.
I think that is the mom.
Just killed a man.
I mean, they keep scrolling here, but you can't see what's further left, whether that opens out into like an actual river or something. Either way, it's not like a huge body of water. But yeah, we can spend a whole episode watching animals do some badass shit.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I got Chris Davis coming in Monday. I'm excited about that. It'll be fun.
Is he a flat earther?
No, we did talk about doing a conspiracy episode, but not with Chris Davis, with you guys. But Chris Davis is the I don't know. He's
Election commissioner.
He's not the commissioner, but he's he's the I can't remember what the fucking job title is, but
Was he the guy running the fake ballots to Georgia?
yes, no.
I know we talked about it, around an election time about, fake elections and falsifying and all that kind of stuff. But I've never seen anything run on this long. Like, they're still talking about it. Talking about the voter fraud and all these little states and all this stuff. Like, how is this stuff still going on?
Well, because a lot of it's because it's become agenda items, and like the Georgia thing,
Yes,
it's
I totally agree with that.
Georgia legislature is trying to adjust voting laws to fix some of the problems, air quote.
Did you see some of it? It's bullshit.
They arrested some fucking I can't remember what that lady's job title was, but they arrested.
I heard about that. She was knocking on the governor's door, his
Yeah.
office
Drug
door.
her fucking ass out of there. That's horse shit. Like, I'm sorry,
Right?
that's just
And you
horse
can't
shit.
give people water in line. Remember Mike Galucia?
No.
He used to work with us at Charlie's down the strip. Little gay dude, funny as shit. Anyway, he did a post or something like it was kind of a joke on like gun control thing. It's like he's like, how about we do this? How about we say, because it was making fun of this voting law stuff, and it was like the voter ID and all that kind of shit. How about you can only buy a gun on one certain day in November? You have to wait in line. Nobody can give you water while you're waiting in line. You have to have multiple forms of ID, and you have to register earlier. All that kind of different stuff that's going on like that. And I was like, it sounds ridiculous, which is the point of it. But his stance on it was like, sounds like at least a compromise or something like that. And it's like, nah, I don't think that's what you mean on this one, because that is ridiculous, regardless of the gun part of it. But that for the voting part of it is ridiculous. I mean, I get that, like, it's the verbiage thing that's the problem with the water part. Like, what it's intended to do is that, like, as a candidate or as a volunteer for a candidate or whatever, you can't go into the line of people waiting and give them things. You can't gift things while people are going to vote. It makes sense.
Well, you can't even have it. You can't even have it laying in the line. Like, if there's a designated line area, you
Right.
can't have it sitting there either. So
Right.
it's less about me coming to you as a voter. Like, I can't.
You
can't even provide it.
But the point of the gifts is
Right. The point
is some politician going to be like,
Right.
before the election, like, I'm going to have buckets of water out there for you guys in
not
case
even
you guys
before
get
the election,
Thursday.
but just while you're in line and there's a case of water, and on the case of water there is
But come on, that's a stretch.
vote for AC sticker.
Don't
So
forget-
if that's the case, the law could be. It has to be approved by both parties, and it's got to be Dasani water and not Seth for president water. You know what I mean? Like, there's a way to create that.
I
to
agree,
make,
right.
So it's not about whether or not the water.
Well, I don't think that the idea behind that had to do with water. It had to do with you can't give stuff to people in line because they didn't want. Like, nobody thought that water was
become
going to
a
be an
tool,
issue.
right? Become a tool
But
for a candidate.
Someone said that, well, that's a gift. If you're giving them, we can't give gifts in line. And I think that's where it sprung. Some asshole that was reading too close into the law saying water is a gift. You can't give people water. It's stupid, but I think that's where it comes from. But like this HR1, have you guys seen that?
Which one's one?
HR1. No, the HR1 is the
Federal.
the federal one that changes the bunch of voter stuff that, like, automatically registers you to vote if you're, like, in school or
Go to the DMV, get your driver's license.
anything like that. And
Yeah.
so the worry is people that are foreign citizens, if they are attending school, they're automatically going to be registered to vote. And there's if you get a driver's license, if you're a legal alien, you still get a driver's license, then that would register you to vote. And so there's a bunch of stuff. Well, on that side, the Democrats are trying to make it an easier way for people to be registered for voting, but Republicans are saying, oh, this is going to make a bunch of people that shouldn't be voting. But just like any law, it's kind of hard to see what the truth is in all that shit. Like, you pull it up, H.R. 1 is like 47 pages.
Right. Chris Davis is the administrator of Knox County elections. Just to clarify that
Is he
point.
zooming in? Is that what this is?
No, he'll be here. Hopefully I can get the shit smell up before he gets
I
here.
was about to
Hope
say.
so. Yeah, that's where I was thinking. I was like, man, these chairs and that smell. Oh, shit. I'll be like, next time we'll zoom it.
It's a bunch of Febreze.
Yeah. Hey, I need to save that picture you sent me, Sam, so I can put it on. I can forward that to. What's his name?
What is that?
That's out in front of the shop out in North Shore. It's the train bridge right there.
Oh, really?
All the water. Yeah,
geez.
it
No
floods there
shit.
bad. Yeah. Need to get on
Was that today?
city council. No, that was
2 days, 3
a couple days ago. The last rainstorm, not this one.
Thursday.
It was pretty bad when I went through there today, but not that bad.
That was just right after a really heavy downpour.
But I need to get on Mr. Roberto about getting that fixed. Because I think it's a city. Well, no, because North Shore is a state road, and so that's one of those joys of complexity. Is
You should have told me. I could have had Jennifer out there in her mermaid tail swimming.
she's been dying for
I
an
don't think you
excuse.
want to be in that water. There was trash definitely coming out of the sewers from that backup.
I mean, she's been in that damn RV after we've had opening weekend, so
If we're gonna be honest about it, it's.
But we're going to Montreal for North American Mermaid Championship. She's competing.
that's pretty cool.
And that's why we can't complain too much about the world we live in. That's a thing that exists.
I don't complain about the world that we live in.
If she wins, she goes to the World Championships in China.
All right.
And may or may not ever come back.
Yes,
Well, she'll bring a new COVID back.
we're trying to get
This
a new
one's
strain.
from eating wild mermaid tail. That's what.
Might be.
So Max will have it. Max will be the patient zero from eating wild mermaid tail.
Nah, he'll have his mask on. He'll have 3 masks on. It's a joke. It's a joke.
Sam's got to go to work. Lame. Your bosses suck.
I got a cigar to smoke.
All right. Well, then I guess that calls it a show, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So outro. Sam, Max, AC, myself, doing show stuff, playing with the new stuff. We apologize if we go silent, playing, pushing buttons and stuff because we're looking at a screen that you guys can't see. Figure out how to work on some of that as far as how you guys can jump in on being able to see what we're seeing and talking about while we're talking about it. So we're almost agreement at gmail.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Find our website at almostagreement.com. That's a good way to get episodes, if not on your favorite podcast provider. We'll be back with more shows like we were talking about. I got Chris Davis on Monday. I should have Sheriff Spangler, or at least somebody from the Sheriff's Office coming in the following Monday. And we got city races coming up, so I'm going to start getting city candidates and more because I have too much fun doing this. We're almost in agreement. Help us out. Tell your friends about us. We need more audience so we can pull bigger, better interviews. The more listeners we have, the better guests we'll have to get to keep you guys happy. So, almost in agreement. Have a great day.